Bitcoin is pumping. What happens next? So what's up, YouTube? It's the Jack Crypto Guy bringing you a time-sensitive update. Now, obviously, as predicted, gold is now correcting and Bitcoin has now reached about $114,000 at the time of this recording. And a lot of people are kind of wondering, is this the rotation that we've been looking for? Are we going to go into this massive bull run? Is this cycle over? I've seen all y'all's questions. And so I kind of want to address what I think could happen next and what you guys should be doing to prepare for the next move. So obviously, Bitcoin looks good and the altcoins are starting to catch a bid. I think the number one thing to not do right now is to FOMO back into the market, because typically when you start chasing a pump, you want to have always like a confirmation, right? And so I would see how this kind of closes out on probably like the daily candle. You want to see Bitcoin really stay between, like, in my opinion, between like $115,000 to $116,000 on the daily close. And this is going to show a good sign of reversal. You'll have a higher low. And so you want to make sure that you're not still in the downtrend. So what often happens, and I hope it doesn't happen this time, is you'll have Bitcoin obviously correct because it's just been kind of down only. We've had massive liquidation events, and people know that, specifically like market makers or anybody that's like big in the space, they know how to kind of rope retail in to kind of have like exit liquidity. And so what I'm kind of worried about right now is you have a lot of these large OG whales still selling off Bitcoin whenever the price goes up, and you have, clients at BlackRock, like they're kind of cashing out, but I wouldn't really worry about them because they're more of like retail, and they're probably just like scared and they're kind of falling into narratives. And a lot of them I think are kind of foaming into gold, which is like, whenever you see people like outside of the gold stores and all that kind of stuff trying to like buy it, that's generally a top signal for whatever they're trying to buy, right? So it was pretty clear that there was going to be some kind of like blowout top when it comes to gold. And that's not to say that it can't like catch a bid and continue to like rip higher. But obviously you see a very inverse correlation right now, where you see like gold going down, Bitcoin going up, because I think that there's going to be a massive push, I think, into like this whole like Bitcoin is gold narrative. And I think that it just needs to be a little bit more battle tested and just, a little bit more trusty when it comes to the average investor. But again, I would caution just this move. I wouldn't like FOMO back in and open up like long positions or anything of that nature. I'm personally hedged in, low leverage short positions just against my spot positions. The reason why I do this is because obviously I'm super bullish, right? And no one really knows what direction the market's going to go. And so I have most of my portfolio just in spot. So I don't care if it goes up or down. And the higher that the price goes, I kind of add to these shorts in like a low leverage. So like, if you're in a 2x leverage, then the price would have to go 50% in the opposite direction in order for you to get liquidated. And so I like to do this as a way to, obviously make money when the price goes down so that I can accumulate the underlying asset, whatever I want to do, right? So that's just something that that's just kind of my strategy. But, a lot of people tend to see this like, oh no, I missed the pump and like everything's going bullish. And so they just go like max long, and then they end up getting liquidated, because there's always going to be a pullback, even though we do look to be a little bit bullish on shorter time frames, obviously. And so I think that what's going to happen next, you just kind of need to take a step back, see what the Fed's going to do when they cut their interest rates next week, kind of see how this whole like, gold play kind of shakes out. Because if gold starts ripping up again, I do predict that Bitcoin is just going to kind of start taking a nosedive yet again. And I've been hearing a lot of rumors. This is like just kind of hearsay, but there's a lot of speculation that there is just some fallout that's going to happen due to the massive liquidation event. I think that there's still like, bodies that are going to be floating up above the water, so to speak, where it's just, you don't really know the contagion until, the news is released. And so if any of these companies kind of go under, or there's like a massive like liquidation event, it's going to highly impact all of, Bitcoin and crypto. So just be very cautious and, still stick to your plan if you have it. But I think a lot of you guys were really worried, is the cycle over? Like, I didn't take profits, I should have taken profits. And so you always want to use everything as a learning lesson, in my opinion. So, don't be scared to take profits on the way up, because in my opinion, like, yes, there is an argument to be made that this 4-year cycle could be coming to an end. But, that hasn't been the case at all since the inception of Bitcoin and crypto. So I don't think it's ever a bad time to take profits, especially if you're up like 2, 3, 5x. Just take some off the table so that you always have, some dry powder on the side for these inevitable crashes. And a good way to think about this is, if you have like let's say you have a pie, right? It's your portfolio. Keep like maybe 20, 25% always in stable coins. So whenever the prices of like your crypto goes up, you're going to have to take profits to rebalance the portions, right? And vice versa. Like if things crash, then you're going to have, a higher percentage in your stable coin, so you can deploy some of those into those cryptos that have gone down. That way you're always going to be in the market, and you're always going to have cash on the side to do whatever it is you're trying to do, right? So that was my time sensitive update. And if you have any questions, obviously drop them in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. I'll see y'all soon. Bye.